Microsoft announced earlier this week that they were looking to invest into companies that could create for them what Genshin Impact has created for Sony, creating an Xbox exclusive Genshin Impact killer, as it were, which really goes to show the sheer success Genshin Impact as a singular title has had on the entire gaming industry, when Microsoft themselves confirmed it is a threat to their growth. That's kind of like how you guys have invested into me as a creator by becoming patrons over on Patreon, which I cannot thank you guys enough for. I appreciate you all much more than any upcoming gacha game. Also, go ahead and consider following Mrs. Stix and I over on Twitter. China has recently transitioned from a land mostly comprised of players to a hub of blockbuster developers and titles. And according to an interview with Reuters, Microsoft have stressed a sense of urgency to combat the threat that Genshin Impact poses to the gaming industry as a whole. Both Sony and Microsoft have been investing large sums of money into smaller developers to nurture programs and to license titles with little success thus far. Genshin Impact has generated billions of dollars after launching 2 years ago and has set an entirely new standard when it comes to what defines a cross-platform video game. This success on PC, on mobile, and most importantly, on consoles is something both Microsoft and Japan seek in an effort to increase the number of active subscribers to their Game Pass and their PlayStation Plus subscription services. Analysts have confirmed that there has been growing Western interest in Chinese games in recent years, with many confirming Chinese games have caught up to the quality of AAA budget Western games. Chinese game developers are trying to standardize their development tools, create advanced production processes, invest in really large-scale teams. Ultimately, that helps provide them with a competitive edge to reach a broad audience both in terms of geography and platforms, one was quoted as saying. Microsoft has filled its roster with the surplus of large-scale, big-brand titles over the years, but recently they built a team specifically to scout out Chinese games, providing extensive funding to even independent studios that show promise. In an active effort to maximize earnings and also take advantage of the success of Genshin Impact, Microsoft confirmed the expansion of their subscription service to both PC and mobile devices. This will appeal to a larger number of players and companies, specifically Hoyo, who have developed somewhat of a reputation for cross-platform compatible games. Genshin Impact, Honkai Impact, even Zenless Zone Zero and Star Rail, Wuthering Waves, Arknight's Enfield, incredible looking Chinese gacha games that have confirmed cross-platform releases. Ark Survival Evolved from Studio Wildcard revealed that Microsoft actually paid them $2.5 million to feature their game on the Game Pass and $2.3 million for its sequel, Ark 2. For reference, Studio Wildcard is owned by the Chinese Snail Games. To further illustrate this point, Recreate Games in Shanghai confirmed that their company signed a deal last year for their title Party Animals to launch exclusively on Xbox. They did not confirm how much they were being paid, however. Microsoft is severely behind Sony, as back in 2017, Sony launched a gaming initiative that they titled the China Hero Project, aimed at aiding Chinese developers publish games on the PlayStation platform, 17 of which have successfully launched since. One such title was Genshin Impact. Back in 2019, Hoyo, who was a much smaller studio at the time, partnered with Sony to release the game as a PlayStation exclusive. This deal went on to largely benefit both companies, as Genshin Impact went on to become one of the largest hits of the decade. Two people, one of which is part of Microsoft's team to scout out new Chinese studios, confirmed that Microsoft were also in talks with Hoyo to release Genshin Impact on the Xbox, but they didn't successfully reach a deal. They also confirmed that Microsoft regrets missing this opportunity and have learned from their mistakes. For decades, Chinese players imported the majority of their games, as Chinese games were considered to be poor quality with absolutely no production value. Even Tencent, who is a monolith towering above technology companies, began publishing foreign games within China. Fast forward to present day, China is the world's largest market for video games, with many Western companies investing into Chinese studios, as ActiBliz proved was beneficial to them with Diablo Immortal and even Ubisoft more recently. There were regulatory restrictions imposed upon development and even length of playtime, but that hasn't inhibited China. On the contrary, more games are slated to release in the coming years than ever before. Many companies and even gaming executives use Genshin Impact as a reference, a global industry milestone. Apple, as an example, demonstrated the power of their new iPad by showcasing the seamless cross-platform support, quality, and gameplay. Another milestone was Nautica Bladepoint from NetEase, Tencent's only direct competitor. Nautica went on to sell tens of millions of copies and opted to enter a deal with Microsoft as opposed to Sony to release the game as a Microsoft Game Pass exclusive in June. Genshin Impact has become the standard for cross-platform gaming, and through their deal with Sony, has left Microsoft playing catch-up with no success thus far. Microsoft believes Genshin's continued success and growth are going to be damaging for it as a company and as a competitor to Sony, and have hopes that they can secure exclusive deals with upcoming games that possess the unique potential to compete directly with or even surpass Genshin Impact. And honestly, the only game on the immediate horizon with any real chance at all of that is Wuthering Waves. So expect both Microsoft and Sony to enter bids for Wuthering Waves and Arknight's Enfield. 2023 is going to be an interesting year for video games. Until then, try one of these two games on screen right now. Both absolutely incredible looking upcoming gacha games, hopefully launching sometime in 2023. These are the future.